Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Flat Earth Roundup. It's where I look back on the week's shenanigans, should we say, in the Flat Earth movement. And a lot of people ask me, why'd you do this, Jed? Why'd you do this? Why'd you bother? Even my missus. And I ask myself the same question sometimes, I do. But it's like if I came on YouTube when I first discovered Flat Earth, if I had a normal guy sitting there, somebody that's not trying to hit you with NASA stuff, somebody that's not trying to hit you with maths, somebody that's just trying to show you what they believe with their evidence, without any dogma. I wish there was somebody like that when I first came on YouTube. But unfortunately for me, there wasn't many. They were all charlatans. And there was a few people, but I kind of ignored them. But I think they were just approaching it the wrong way. Anyway, I thought I'd talk a wee bit about Flat Earth, maybe solo tonight. I might let people in for chat, it depends. But God, the UK Flat Earthers, God, we're mental, eh? I say we, I'm not a Flat Earther, but I just mean the UK, we're mental. The Americans, they just go around chasing their tail. They go around in circles. They're starting again, 2016 style. They're going back to Mark Sargent's first clue and Eric DeBay's first proof. Proof. This is the word they keep using, guys. Proof. It's a trick. It's a trick to keep using that word proof. If you've seen at the beginning of the show, guys, I was showing the scientific method, and nowhere does it say in the scientific method you need proof for anything. You form hypotheses, you do experiments, you repeat them. You form a hypothesis. It's not a fact, but it's the closest thing with the evidence you can gather. Like I said, the British stuff is mental. It's totally mental. I was watching Martin just now, actually. I'm still kind of watching him, but oh man. I talk about the Americans going round in circles, and the Canadians, should we say, that part over the Atlantic. But the guys for the UK, they're mental. Nathan Oakley as well. I thought their behaviour in this Leicester Space Centre was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous. The way they were just invading people's space and swearing. There was kids everywhere. You couldn't walk, like you couldn't swing a cat without hitting a kid. And the way they were rampaging around, it was like it reminded me of the bullies at the shows, the fairground, just knocking people aside to get on the neck and get out of the way. Like they would see somebody's interactive thing, like baked beans or something like that. Some wee kid was standing there, like playing with it. Like it's just these things so kids can interact and get more involved. It's not trying to brainwash you. It's just try to make a better day for the kids and the family. But what do you know? My prediction came true, by the way, when we were laughing about Martin going to the Space Centre and ruining everyone's day. God, I wasn't far off. Because that's the mindset. That's the mindset of these people. They're mental. Totally mental. It's like if you came off Flat Earth and found sane people talking about Flat Earth, and fair enough, maybe they believed in Flat Earth at that moment in time, but they're still searching for evidence, and they're just normal people, and they're no insane like this. This is insanity. I just see it looked like it was like last year's one. Totally insane. And they were just invading people's space and getting in the way, and it's an embarrassment for the UK, I think. It's a total embarrassment. And Dell, I was watching Dell the night, Beyond the Imaginary Curve, and he's getting a lot of attention recently for his repetitiveness. He's so repetitive, and every person that came on his show tonight, they go, everyone that's came on Dell's show has always been civil. They've always been civil. They never cursed. And they never get the same in return. It's just a logical fallacy. It's piss off. And it's total dogma. It's total dogma. And I highlighted in one of his latest videos, the English teacher one, that John guy, that John, for Beyond the Imaginary Curve. It's his channel as well, he claims. He's done an interview and used a soundbite and added it in because it's the exact same soundbite. It's the exact same bit. He's edited it in there. So he's deliberately trying to deceive you because what was said in the part that he decided to put the Eric debate. There's lots of stuff on YouTube, Eric debate, blah, blah, blah. It looks like they're pushing Eric debate now because Eric debate is promoting them. So he's added a soundbite in it, and that's deceptive editing. They complain about NASA, the BBC deceiving us with cartoons on screens and fake stuff. Well, they're doing it themselves. Beyond the Imaginary Curves channel has a video that's been deliberately deceptive for what I see. Why edit that out? What did he say to the guy? So if you check out my video done just recently, my last video, it just shows you that it's the exact same soundbite they've put in. Exactly the same. Bang. And Dell must have watched that video before he posted it. I think most people watching that video probably heard that. But is this the amnesia kicking in, the flat earth amnesia? And you watch the show and you just think to yourself, you sit there talking about how repeatable, observable evidence, and that's all you can sit and say. But what have you done? It's been months now. You guys sitting in that echo chamber demanding proof when there's no proof, there's only evidence. People build belief systems through evidence. If they don't have evidence for their belief system, well, they've got a false belief system. Sometimes it's a true belief system without evidence, but it doesn't mean they know. That doesn't mean they've got knowledge. Because a lot of people could say to me, this is stupid, Jed. Why are you coming on these hangouts and telling us what the world already knows? It's obvious. If a person that believes in the globe comes on this and watches you, he'll be saying, you're just stating the obvious, Jed. Well, the same people that would say that are the same people that would get stopped in the street from Dell and not be able to answer them. So this is kind of important for me and important for other people to see that this is a deception. It's a deliberate deception. If they're editing the videos like that, it's a deception. And Dell's sitting there with his echo chamber, this Ali guy, John, this teen guy. And I think I've seen this teen guy in debates before even he was on Dell. So I don't know what that connection is with him just being adopted onto Dell's channel. And it's like, it's total pseudoscience. These guys are pseudoscientists. They're pseudoscientists. They talk about how the teachers they interviewed, like the English teachers, and how they're just indoctrinating people and read the comments. It's disgusting. I thought that the English teacher before, the woman, I thought it was despicable the way they edited that video. The way when she said something that they thought was stupid, they put an image up of women with their head in the sand and their butts up wiggling it, and it was totally distasteful. And if I was the woman and I came on, I'd be pretty angry. I'd be pretty darn angry. Or even the son. What if that was my mum? It's totally disrespectful. They're ambushing people and they're taking advantage of their ignorance. And it's not right. It's not right. It's not, and they're total pseudoscientists. They don't do any observable experiments themselves. And when you say pseudoscience, we mean pseudoscience. It's not science. Science, you try and disconfirm what you're talking about. That's the way to go about it. That's proper science, trying to disconfirm what you believe in. Like Santa, if you've got like a bias confirmation, like if you go in it with with that thinking, like flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth, and you're only looking for flat Earth, well, that's all you're going to find. You're only going to find flat Earth clues and stuff like that. That's just pseudoscientists. You're going to try and disprove the flat Earth if you want to be scientific, and that's what I tried to do. I tried to do that. I tried to get right into the flat Earth, and I tried to disprove the globe. I tried. I got right. I was speaking to people, and whilst I was trying to disprove the globe, I was creating relationships with certain YouTubers, and it was good. And I was trying to disprove the globe. That's what I believed in at the time, so I was trying to disprove it. That's science. That's not pseudoscience. I wasn't looking for stuff to prove the globe. I was looking for stuff to disprove the globe. It's like the whole Santa argument, and they use it quite a lot over there as well. The Santa Claus argument is like, if I look for evidence everywhere, I'll find it for Santa. Ah, you will. You will find it if you look under the tree at Christmas time. There'll be evidence that Santa was there. If you go to the grotto, that Santa was sitting there, photos. There's plenty of evidence to find Santa. There's plenty of evidence for Santa existing. How to disprove Santa's existence is trying to disprove him. Like, don't look for evidence that he exists. Look for evidence that he doesn't exist. Like, stay up late. Wait for him to come down the chimney. That's proper science. Pseudoscience is when you're trying to go around confirming your bias already. And that's what they're doing. They won't look at anything that goes against what they believe. And it's pseudoscience. And that's what it is. And they use proof. The word proof. That's not how beliefs are built. Beliefs are built with evidence to justify your belief. If you've got a belief, someone asks you, well, why do you believe that? You're going to give them evidences to support why you believe that thing at that time. It might change. I might change. You always have to keep it open. You can't just shut the door completely. But when you see there's deliberate dishonesty going around, and this is deliberate dishonesty, when they preach the natural scientific method or natural science, they've managed to merge them both together, natural science and the scientific method. All natural science is physics, biology, geology, whatever things from the physical real world. That's what natural science is. Scientific method is forming a hypothesis, going through a sequence of events, doing experiments, comparing. I don't see any of that happening over at Beyond the Curve. I see them making word salads up and putting people on the spot. It's almost like it's like the aggressive salesman or the religious fundamentalist. I don't see. I think it's unfair what they're doing, and I think that last video with the English teacher and the way they put that bit of soundbite in there, that's totally dishonest. So we've got Dell he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't know what it is. The people just like to hear the same thing over and over and over again. Like I said, pseudoscience is trying to confirm your belief. Try and disconfirm your belief. Please. That's what I tried to do, and that's what I done. I done it. I tried to disprove the globe, and I couldn't. Sometimes as much as I wanted to disprove it, I couldn't. It's just crazy over in Britain. They're shooting in different. We're really impatient here. I think the Brits are getting bored of the American stuff as well. They're just impatient. They can't go. The Brits can't go to conventions and get all hyped up about this stuff. And this meetup, this shows you with Martin's meetup. How many was there? 10 people. They said 10 people. I didn't see 10 people. I've still not seen 10 people. I've seen Nathan Oakley, the wife, the kid, Martin, maybe a couple of other guys and their kids. That's about it. And it was just disgraceful. Disgraceful. He's lucky that the phone lines are they're automated at the weekends. Instead of Monday to Friday, you can speak to them. Because I'm sure someone would have phoned in and just said, this is a disgrace. And like I said, these flat earthers, they say to me, if you don't, and you'll hear Morgile saying it on Globebusters, and you'll see a lot of these flat earthers are saying it. If you don't like the flat earth, why are you in it? Why are you getting involved? Why are you sticking your nose in? Why are you getting so involved with it? It's like, well, why are you going to space centres where there's families having days out, trying to enjoy themselves, trying to spend just a family day out? They're not too even bothered about the stuff that they see. They're just enjoying the time that they're having with their family because they've had a hard day's work or week's work or whatever. And you've got these idiots showing up, invading people's space, swearing, like just outright swearing and just out loud and bullshit. And I thought it was disgraceful. I thought it was totally disgraceful. And it's the same with the whole beyond the curve stuff. I think it's immoral. I think they've got epistemic responsibility. Epistemic responsibility. Because it's just, people think this stuff's harmless, and it isn't. It isn't. It can spread like a disease, this stuff. This stuff can spread. If we can be fooled, me, you, who's saying the whole, like, if this catches on properly, and I just don't think we've seen any evidence. And what they're grasping at in Dell's hangouts right now is like practically two things. It's like Dell's argument now is water does not conform to a ball, and what's the other one? Two pressure systems. Two pressure systems cannot exist without a solid barrier or some shit like that. It's like, oh, he says it it's like a it's like a mantra. Talking about mantras, did you hear Martin in that Space Center? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. He was singing like New Age, weird, shitty. It's like he's hypnotized. He's going around just hypnotized. He's just a flat earth zombie. And these people are dangerous. They are to society. I didn't approve it. And as much as people can say it sounds dramatic and stuff like that, but if this was another kind of ideology, like flat earth seems a bit harmless, but it's not, because it covers, like they say, it's not important, but it covers everything. It covers everything, so it is important. It's important to know if the powers that be have lied to us completely. And it's like this, it's the other thing. Stop, why do you have to look at the sky? Look at the sky. Why are you looking at the sky for your information? The sky doesn't tell you, you're just sky gazers. Like, you've got to think, how far back do you have to go? How far? Like in man's existence? Like, did we start looking at the skies and realizing that these were things, these were real? Do we have to go back like BC style to go, is this the thinking? Is this the thinking? BC? Is this a mindset over at Dell's? BC? Because I'm sure cavemen even started wondering what the sun, the moon, the stars were. I'm sure they started realizing there's a day, there's a night. And over thousands of years of observing, they realized that we're living on a sphere. And it's like thousands of years of observing. And the NASA's not been around for thousands of years. We cannot have been lied to for so long on so many levels. It's just, it would have been impossible, logistically, just impossible. That was the biggest thing that gave me the shock when I thought that there could be legitimate arguments in flat earth, was the fact that the powers that be have controlled everything that we've seen and read, and that frightened me. But once I realised on my own observations, if you're new to this, guys, I've actually done my own observations, compared them with other people around the world. I've even went into the water with my camera, which it wasn't that successful, but I have been doing my own stuff, and I've came to the conclusion that it's a ball. It's just one of these things. It's and like I said, I'm not going to go on and on about NASA, because, like I said, NASA's in America, and the only thing that pisses me off about NASA is if they lied about the moon landing, the first moon landing. That would annoy me. But Like a guy came on Dell's show and said, well, where's your evidence to prove it at CG? Like I heard Dell, they were arguing about the rocket launch and it being a cartoon. And the guy turns around to him that went on the panel and says, well, where's your evidence that it's a cartoon? You sit there and you make claims as well. They're saying we're making claims of a ball and blah, blah, blah. But they're making claims at the same time when they say that's fake or that's a cartoon. That's a claim. They're making an assertion. And they have to provide evidence to back that assertion, which they can't. They never do. It seems to be all right for one side and not for the other. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. Dell, Martin, Nathan Oakley, the British stuff, Poncho Pete, and that Vince. They are absolutely nutbags. It's the flat earthers just went haywire in the UK. Haywire. Total haywire. You flick back over to like Jeranism and these charlatans, and they've got the re-conference gone, but I think they're just thinking, right, we'll just stay on a time loop. We'll just put everything on repeat until that conference, and we'll just see how it goes. But JLB done a good sort of investigation into the guy that's starting the conference, this Robert Davidson chap. Bitcoins sounds all familiar, doesn't it, guys? The old Bitcoin scammers. And I've been listening to other hangouts as well. I've been listening to P Mars. P Mars, God, I've got to love the guy. I do like him. He's a total rebel. He's a total rebel. Just his hangouts are good, and he gives everyone a chance. He does. I've seen that A4 go on, and he gives them a chance. He gives them too much freedom. But he's set up a good way to do his hangouts so it can't get sniped. So you should go over and check P Mars out. Cathexis appears a lot. God, man, that guy Cathexis. Oh, you should listen to him on P Mars and other hangouts. It's like he hones his skills in these other hangouts. So when he gets on like journalism, he goes on and he just repeats. He repeats and repeats. He's the same like the others, repeating and repeating and repeating. He wants so much a say, Cathexis, but he won't even show his face. It's like flat Earth's like the fat ugly girlfriend affair. It's like he's having an affair with flat Earth, Cathexis. He knows it's not right. He won't show it to the public. He won't tell anyone about it. But he'll keep doing it because he's just a sicko, just sadistic. And I think he likes debating stupid people as well. I think he likes to think he can word salad people, and by keeping yourself off the screen, like what I'm doing right now, you're because it's live, you're watching me right now. I can't go around checking. I've heard Cathexis typing away. When he's in a debate, and he's just searching fucking whatever it is he wants to fucking debate about. It's like, oh my god, and this is why they didn't like to show the cameras a lot of people, because they've got all their notes around them, and they just want to keep flicking them up. Because they don't do any proper research. They just take wee phrases that try and blow your mind, like little shitty phrases that try and influence you. And Mark Sargent does it with his analogies. One of them worked on me at the beginning. This whole animals being trapped, and if they come up to a fence, they realise that that's the border, and they'll just settle within that environment. But humans want to find out, and that really got me thinking. It did get me thinking. But it is true. But that's why we explored the whole bloody planet. That's why there's nowhere to explore now, because humans are inquisitive. Humans do want to explore. But we've kind of hit that limit on this planet, and now we're trying to go beyond. Whether we can go beyond, this, like people on Mars and all that shit, I'm skeptical about that. Very skeptical. I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I'm not saying it can happen either, because I've not seen enough decent evidence for both sides. This could be something that they'll be arguing about on YouTube in 20 years' time, just like the moon landings. And when you think about it, all these conspiracies, all these truth channels, all this shit on YouTube, is there any of them ever actually had an impact in reality? All these fucking channels, all these millions of views and thousands of subscribers, has it had any effect on reality outside at all? Russian vids with how many views? Can all these people, has there been any effect on the outside world? Even the 9/11 stuff. It's just, they've got us chasing our tails. Totally chasing our tails, guys. Anyway, hope you're having a good night. I'm just having a bit of a rant. I've been pretty busy as well this week. I've been trying to listen to stuff. Like I said, I've been tuning into P. Mars. But cathexis just seems to drone and drone and drone, and he can't provide any decent evidence. And when you do hit him with stuff, he starts the straw man, and he just drones and drones, and he's that sort of passive aggressive style cathexis where you feel guilty with yourself for being mean to him or being confrontational sometimes. And I see that effect with people. And I've even heard them saying, "I love you, man." It's like he says, "I love you." Like he'll say, "I love you" to someone, and if they're a wee bit, it kind of just deflates them a wee bit. He's a master at that, and it gets tiresome to listen to. It gets tiresome to listen to. It really does. I think Osmond's starting to get tired of it, and the thing is with flat earthers, you could say on YouTube, there's two kinds of flat earthers. There's like the consumers of flat earth and the producers of flat earth. And I'm not too bothered about the consumers. In a way, they're victims. They're victims to this sophism. They're the people I'm trying to wake up. The producers are the people I'm against. I'm not against flat earthers that are just taking in information. If they don't want to go out and do their own observations for themselves, and all they depend on is videos, fair enough. Fair enough. But at least they're not spreading it. They're not pushing out the videos. If the videos just stopped, well, the consumer it would just stop. It's the people who produce the bullshit that I get pissed off with. And they're debunking themselves nowadays. They're so bad at it now. They're so bad. All these 200 proofs, that's what I'm saying, they're all whittling. They're whittling down. They're whittling down to nothing. They are whittling down to nothing. Like I say, Dell, he's got his 2 pressure systems. I don't think Dell realizes that. Wait, give me a wee second. I'll have a drink. I think Dell is implying that there's 2 pressure systems like that. So there has to be some kind of solid barrier in between. He doesn't actually think that the air gets thinner and thinner and thinner. It's a gradient. That's why airplanes work differently. Different altitudes. There's a lot less drag the higher an airplane is, because the air is a lot thinner and it can easily move through it. There's less friction on the planes and the wings, so it takes less fuel to move it. And it's the same if you go higher and higher and higher and higher. It just gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And it's not till there's nothing. I think even just the sun's is given some slight particles in space, but the practice is nothing. So if you think about it that way, and the whole density for gravity is density. Oh, guys, you need to search that video. It's a bowling ball and a feather falling down like a massive vacuum chamber. And you watch it, and it's in slow motion, and this bowling ball and this feather fall exactly at the same speed. So if the bowling ball's heavier than surrounding weight, why is the feather falling at the same weight? Because the feather should be lighter than the bowling ball. Where does that logic go with that? I'm not saying it proves gravity, but they're saying that it's all density and it's because it's falling. Where's and it's like it's the magnetic fields. But I thought magnets were metal. I thought magnets worked on metal, like squeezed metal. But I don't know. It's just, and it's this water not conforming to a ball. It's like, well, if they don't believe in gravity, because that's why water is level, because gravity is pushing down on it. There was a person that went on his hangout last week called Brenda, and she was trying to explain that water in the vomit comet, it, it becomes, when it's weightlessness, it becomes spherical. It turns into spherical shape because gravity is not applying its force on it. And they're the plane's not the planet. The plane's not the planet. How's that the planet? And that wasn't the point. The point goes back to the scientific method that they so proclaim about, and they say it's the best thing. And this is what she's talking about. That the water that they were doing that to was put under another environment, tested in a different environment, they're removing gravity to see how it acts. So they're not, by doing that, they're not trying to make the plane Earth or anything. It's just to see how water would react without gravity. That's putting through water through the scientific method, doing all different experiments on it, testing, coming up with a hypothesis, which you don't see over it beyond the curves. All you see is guys sitting around talking about how we're criminals. People who believe the globe are criminals, criminal thoughts, teaching people about the earth being a sphere is a crime to these people. So do you know what? That's going to make me hang around even more. Because to me, that's a total insult to me and everybody I know and all the ancestors and the people that worked and died to explore this world, to chart this world, to figure out how this world works, and the stars and the sun and the moon. They might not be totally correct, and like I said, all this black holes and dark matter, and I'm not clued up with that stuff, so I can't totally say if it's real or not. But I am skeptical about it, because it is a lot of hypothetical stuff. But I don't know, guys. It's just, I don't know why it's exploding with this basketball player and this wrestler. I didn't even research into who the wrestler even is. But it just shows you, flat earthers see a wrestler or a basketball player saying it, they're like, that's a good person to come out with this stuff. Totally ridiculous, guys. Totally ridiculous. So it's just a joke over here in Britain with the flat earth stuff. It's getting to quite a peak. It's peaking over here. If you flick over to Jeranism, he'll be blethering right now about cathexis, about space. And I'm not here to talk about space. I'm not here to talk about the cosmos, as cathexis likes to keep saying. And like I said, he thinks he's doing no harm, but he is doing harm. And he says he likes Poncho Pete because he stands for conviction, and he's all for conviction. He's anti-dogma. He's anti-dogma. But the way he goes around defending the flat earth, using arguments for the flat earth, but he won't show his face publicly. He won't stand as a face for flat earth. He won't even come out and say it. But he acts like a flat earther. Same with that Spectacles character. That Spectacles, that Mark Sargent. And it's funny because Spectacles re-uploaded the Mark Sargent interview without the hangout afterwards. And I looked at it like a few days later and it had like over 100 hits. I was like, nobody's interested. The numbers are. I think the numbers are. They're exaggerated or something, or I think there's maybe a load of people. This is total speculation, guys. I don't have evidence to support this. But I think there may be a load of people watching flat earthers for comedy. There must be like And there must be people getting the beers going, come on, we've got to go over to my house and watch some Flat Earth tonight. There maybe be like a subculture of people just laughing at the idiocy of this. And we don't know about it. There might be like, and that's maybe who these extra numbers are. They aren't even Flat Earthers. They're just people laughing at us. Maybe even at me. Because the numbers don't match. Like 10 people and I don't think there was even 10 people at Martin's thing. I honestly don't. And the way they have to edit these Beyond the Curves interview, this street interview, and I'll let you hear it, guys. Actually, I'll screen share it in a minute. But it's total dishonesty. If you have to do that in your videos, repeat, and it was an Eric Debay. There's lots of, and it was a soundbite. So obviously he didn't say that to that guy. It was either they were both fake, or one of them's fake and has repeated it again later on, or they're both fake and it's God. Where does the truth begin and where does the fake end? If you can find one part in it and go through it again, guys, you can hear I've just highlighted an obvious part to get you looking into it. But listen to the whole thing. The sounds change, the waves change. I've looked at it in waveform, and there's lots of bits that didn't match up with just a normal audio. It's all over the place. It's highly edited. If they're highly editing their videos, they're hiding something. Hiding stuff's deceiving people with this crap, total crap. I thought the other English interview, it was just terrible the way they. I just thought it was disrespectful. And Poncho, he's a clown, man. Poncho the clown. He's such. I think same again. P Mars made a good point. He says he was going through YouTube and he's seen Poncho Pete had over 60 people watching it. And what was the first thing P Mars thought? There must be drama happening. Right, he went over and there was. He was kicking out what's his name? Oh, I can't mind. It's one of these, the religious guy, Pillbox. He was going crazy at Pillbox. And that Pillbox is a shilty anyway. Same with that Pete Shear that P Mars brought on. Pete Shear tries to say that no one died in 9/11. That is, and P Mars is bang on when he says that all these are just like fake conspiracies to mix up the real conspiracies. We'll never discover the real conspiracies. The more disinfo surround it, we need to wade through it all. Wade through all this shit, and sometimes they'll never get to the truth, especially at this rate. Especially with people like Pete Shear going around spreading disinfo like that, and the rate he spreads it is just I think it could be a condition, like a mental condition with these people. It's just like and everything is a conspiracy, and that's when you've got to. That's when I started doubting all these other truther channels. There's not one truther channel that throws a very odd one in the mix. It's like you think they're telling the truth, and then suddenly Bill Hicks is Alex Jones, or someone's a woman, or it's like, what the hell's going on here? Or they go on a religious babble. And I think the flat Earth is going to take a very religious turn. You can sense it in certain people. Start talking about Jesus. Jesus flies at the myth. And I wouldn't mind talking about what I think, my world view on the Bible and religion, Jesus. I wouldn't mind explaining my end, because I've been called a lot of things in the past. I've been accused of being a Jew, which is, guys, for God's sake, even if I was a Jew, I'm a Scotsman, but even if I was a Jew, like, if I was a Jew, I'd be getting so much anti-Semitism, but I didn't see it as anti-Semitism because I'm no Jewish. I'm a Scotsman, so I kind of laugh at it. But just the way this whole Jewish stuff is, and I think there's a big conspiracy that's trying to accuse the Jews. And what I say is, who created Israel? The Jews never created Israel. The people that control this world created Israel. and it ain't the Jews. The Jews are part of it all, definitely, no doubt about that. But the people who are controlling this world, who people are calling the Illuminati or the powers that be or the elites, they ain't just Jews. European, it all goes back to the Europeans. So, and the Queen, you think she's descended from King David. That's why she rules Britain. It's called divine right. It's the only country in the world, apart from North Korea, that a leader rules them through divine right. And if you don't know what divine right is, it's because God said so. So they believe this stuff. They believe the Bible. All the laws, all the courts, everything's based upon stuff in the Bible. So for people to think that the Bible has nothing to do with what's happening day to day in your life, what's happening right now in the Middle East, what's going to happen in the future, if you think the Bible's hocus pocus, fair enough. But I think the Bible has got a lot of clues, and it's no shitty Mark Sargent clues or Eric DeBay proofs. I think it's just clues, a guide how to control people, a guide to let the people know who should be in control and who is in control. The Bible states that the chosen people will rule the four corners of this globe, or four corners of the earth, should we say. You've got America, Australia, South Africa, Falklands and South America, probably South America at some point. We own China, India, the British Empire. The British Empire are the chosen people. You might want to call them Jews. And in a way they are. They think they descend back to the tribes, the Jewish tribes. And whether you believe that shit or not, like I said, you might think Jewish tribes, bullshit, prove it, evidence. Well, I can't really. I can only go by what they think themselves as well, and by through art and stuff like that, and through history. Just looking at their history, bloodlines, certain bloodlines, certain families, heraldry, and it's just weird because they keep saying that the Jews are like, it was a big deception, the Holocaust, and then NASA, the paperclip. So it was like Nazis and Jews all going to America and having a party or something. What does a flat Earth believe? The Nazis and Jews all went to America and had a party with Aleister Crowley. Again, it's just total mumbo jumbo. It's the European families that run this world, and the European families are ingrained in American politics. There's no doubt. There's no doubt of that. And people think that becoming a president or a mayor is a random thing. Is it hell? Is it hell? This war between Britain and America, I think people got mixed up with who really. It wasn't a win. America didn't win freedom from Britain. They signed a treaty. They signed a treaty with Britain. And we think we're the chosen people, the Queen, the royal family, and which goes right into the American politics. So if we've got a bunch of people, and in Australia, stuff like that, if we think we, again, if the Queen thinks she should rule the world, she does. It's just simple as that. She does. Jews don't. Again, if they think they're a line of King David, isn't the Queen admitting she's Jewish then? Or Solomon, or whoever they think they're descended from. So in a way, they're saying they're Jewish. The name Britain is actual Hebrew. It means Brit Am. It's Brit Am, and it means men of the covenant. Britain's men of the covenant, and then you've got the Gaelic languages. It's similar to Hebrew, and I found connections between the Celtic culture and like the old Hebrew cultures. People need to stop saying Jewish, because I think just the word Jew, it's not just it's not Jews. It's all these different European slash Jews slash maybe even Middle Easterns. It's not just Jews. So people need to stop hating on the Jews. Stop hating on me for I don't know how I even resemble a Jew, to be honest. And that's what a lot of people debate. Is Jew just being a Jew? Is that just a religion, or is it genetic? Is it genetic? It's still debated now. Some people don't think that being a Jew is a genetic thing. They just think it's your religion, what you practice. Other people think it's a genetic thing. So that's a debate on its own. But I think what's going on in the Middle East right now, the creation of Israel, the wars in Syria, the wars in Iraq, all this is connected to the Bible. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. And I don't believe the Bible in a way that the fundamental Christians I believe it. Like, this says this and this says that. I'm looking for the sort of the metaphors as well. They take it so literally sometimes. It's full of metaphors, the Bible. And there is a strong connection with the UK. There's no doubt about it. And Scotland. I've noticed it in my culture. It's when you live in this culture and you can see it so strongly. Like, even just the name, the Jocks. Like, Scots will call, well, people from other parts of the world will call Scots Jocks. And the people know why we get called Jocks. Because it's from Jacob, the tribe of Jacob. And this is where I go. This is what I'm saying. This whole Jewish connection. The stone of Scone is one of the most prized objects in Scotland, and it's a slab. It's just a slab of sandstone. But this slab of sandstone was meant to be the same stone that Jacob fell asleep on when he seen the angels like descending and ascending up and down Jacob's ladder, they call it. But this was meant to be that stone that Jacob fell asleep, and that stone was used to anoint every royal in the Scottish dynasty and in the British dynasty right up to now, to Westminster. It was under the throne in Westminster. And it all goes back to Jacob, the Bible. And like I said, everyone can say these are Bible stories are bullshit, but for some reason the powers that be that control this world hold it dear to them. The Masons hold it dear to them. The Freemasons hold the Bible dear, just like the Quran and the Torah. You'll probably say they three books if you walk into a lodge, in a Freemasonry lodge, because you can't be an atheist if you're going to be a Freemason. You have to believe there's a higher something. I suppose these three, the Abrahamic religions, are all connected. Islamic religion is it's got just as many characters in its book. Like, it's got some of the same characters. Like, even the first man in the Quran was Red Adam. He was a ginger guy called Adam. He was the first guy. I think even Jesus is in the religion. But because it's an Abrahamic religion, and because it was so late, you just think it's just evolved from Judaism and Christianity. It's just another form of it to suit that part of the world. Change a few things, and it seems to be the same book though, telling the same story, just in different cultures and different languages. So I think the Bible is really important. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned in the Bible too, good things, but I think there's a lot of things we should be aware of that could happen in the future. And it's because these people think that we should be ruling the world. This culture, this European, this royal dynasty that connects all the way back to Jerusalem, they reckon, in the Exodus. So, like I said, whether you think it's bullshit or not, that's up to you, but I see too much stuff happening that sort of coincides with what's really happening now. And like the like I said with the Jews, like they never created Israel. They never created Israel. Israel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the British. And that was it the Balfour Agreement. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a good night. I'm starting to ramble a wee bit. I'm going to check the chat, see how he's all doing. I'll show you that video as well that Dell, he's interviewed the English teacher. It was so obviously deceptive. It was so deceitful, man. Oh, if people can't hear that, does Dell and John and all these guys think that you guys are so stupid they can play a 17-minute or 18-minute video, put the same sound, the exact same sound bite, with a whole sentence in it, and you won't notice? Do they think you're that stupid? Is this how stupid flat earthers are? Or will you recognise that someone's fiddling with a shit? Anyway. Who've we all got? Right, we've got Jordan Rains, Holly Smith, Robert Forrest, Jay Forte, Dandello, Space Lord, DQ. And I think that's about it, because everybody's watching Jism. There's P Mars. Like I said, guys, Test Vision is here, Illuminati Shroomies here. Channel Q. Cheers for turning up, guys. I know there's lots of stuff going on, but I just had to highlight a few things. I don't think I'm going to have a dialogue tonight. I think it might be just a monologue. Pretty tired. I've been working on a graphic novel for my college project. I've had like 7 weeks to do it, so I've been trying to listen to this flyer stuff, try to have a family life. That's the cover for it. It's quite hard actually to do a graphic novel. I've scanned it in Photoshop. It's one of these things that trying to get an idea for your thinking idea and think of the environments and the characters, and then to draw it and get it actually a story going. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. These idiots that sit and tell you to do some kind of mantra, and suddenly stuff will materialize in front of you. That's not how it works, guys. That's not how the power of intention works. And you need a lot of inspiration as well for this kind of stuff. You need a kick up the butt sometimes. You need ideas. And I was tempted, guys. I was totally tempted to do a graphic novel on Martin Leakey and Flat Earth. I was going to do him like sitting in front of the TV watching YouTube and going through the emotions and suddenly getting crazier and crazier. But I thought, nah. So I done this idea about, it's a bit like Fallout. A guy wakes up in a cryo chamber, stumbles out, walks into the world, and the world's all weird and flesh. There's like flesh and hair as grass. The trees an arm. The trees have got arms and stuff like that. Like a mixture, a hybrid of like skin instead of plant life. And he sees this greenhouse and he runs to it, and he discovers like this human farm where humans are being cloned. And he discovers Succus. I called him Succus. I know it took me about 5 minutes to find the name. But Succus is the family plants that's succulent. It's like aloe vera and stuff. So I thought Succus, and you can say it backwards as well, like Succus. So I thought, I'll just call it Succus. But anyway, Succus appears, this plant guy, this sort of creepy looking guy. He's a hybrid plant and human. And the guy that's escaped for the cryo chamber asks what's going on here, and he explains that humans were genetically modifying plants and like creatures and stuff like that. And it got out of control. It evolved past human control. There was a war. The plant hybrids won, and now they grow humans for food instead of us growing plants for food because they're so hibernated. They're so like they're half sun isn't enough for them, so they need protein as well. So they grow humans now, and that's the end. The human getting like wrapped up. It had to be short. It was only 4 pages, but I've been working on that and trying to keep in touch with all this stuff. I've been really watching P Mars most of the time. You're watching some of Tim Osmond's stuff, Trapping on the Flat Earth. Go and check his stuff out. I can't even tell you his channel name. It's not even called Tim Osmond. It's like it looks like a wee Thai symbol or something. But like I said, guys, these people like beyond the curve and just flat earthers in general, I suppose, like pseudoscience and science. Like science you try to disconfirm. Pseudoscience, you're trying to confirm. So like we said with Santa, if you're going to look for evidence for Santa, you're going to find it everywhere. If you're going to try and disprove Santa, well, that's a different story. That's called science. And like I said, I've done it with the Earth, tried to disprove the Earth, the ball. And now I've discovered it's not. I'm trying to stop people falling in the same trap. And people like all the top flat earthers, but even the sympathizers like Cathexis and Spec, I think they've got a responsibility, like I said, epistemic responsibility. It's like that paper that came out in 1998 about vaccines. One paper. And there was a big hoo-ha about it. And measles was nearly eradicated. And then soon as like this generation of mothers that got frightened by this vaccine thing, like it's on the rise again. Measles is on the rise. And I don't think nothing's 100% when you get injected with anything. You're going to have a reaction to some stuff, but you've got to weigh the benefits to what could maybe happen. My missus is pregnant. She's no longer going to have a kid, and I've got kids. They're all vaccinated. You just, as a parent, you've got to weigh up the options, and it's just one of these things. But they'll make you feel guilty on Flat Earth or any other conspiracy sort of stuff. Well, not all conspiracies, but it's like this vaccine stuff. It's just another big one. When you got people like Jim Carrey and all that pushing it, these are the same people are calling satanic. I mean, but anyway, hope you're having a good night. Like I said, the whole Santa, pseudoscience and science, belief, proof. Stop. As soon as people start saying proof, just fucking ignore them. Just ignore them, because there's no proof in this discussion. There's evidence. Two sides present evidence to justify their belief system. So, whoever comes out on tops, which the globe always does, we kind of accept that hypothesis until something else comes up to challenge it. But so far, there's nothing. There's nothing. Flat Earth can produce nothing. No evidence, no model, even Bob admitted there's southern flights. He even admitted that he can't explain why the stars rotate clockwise in the south and anti-clockwise in the north. He can't explain it. And I know that deep inside the rabbit hole, he said if that would bust it, well, Bob's busted it already, so just watch out for these charlatans, guys. And I don't know about this whole. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to use words for warfare. That's how the interviews on the streets is, because they're just word salading people, telling them about proof. So they're asking them the belief systems and what evidence they've got, and telling them their belief systems, because Dell doesn't want to tell you his belief system, even though, as Jeremy highlighted, he's got lots of beliefs. Like NASA, Nazis created NASA, and 7 continents in the pond. That's the closest representation of our reality. That's what Dell said. So for somebody that doesn't hold beliefs, he's got a lot of beliefs, and he needs evidence to back the beliefs, or he's just talking crap. And they are all talking crap. What has Beyond the Curve produced? What have they produced for experiments or any evidence to back their claims? Instead of sitting talking about how the globe's bullshit, what have they done? What have they done? And all these morons that go and watch them, just looking for a champion for lies. A champion for fucking lies. And that's what Fly Earth is looking for. Someone that's good at lying. And Cathexis is that. He's just good at talking crap. They love bullshitters in Flat Earth. They really do. The more you bullshit, the higher up you can get in the Flat Earth ladder. Like me, you try and present observable evidence like I've done in the past. And even if I didn't do any of this with the moon or more observable experiments, even if I didn't do it, just the fact that when you go on YouTube and you see all these weirdos, again, if like any sort of cause, if I was like a animal rights lover and I went onto YouTube to try and look for a group of animal rights lovers or whatever it is, and I found all these weirdos pushing new age stuff, pushing irrational, illogical arguments on people, and just trying to embarrass people. They should be ashamed of themselves. Martin as well. Martin, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. The way you act in the Space Center. Same with Nathan Oakley. He was just as bad. Total children. You're total. It actually looked like maybe the security was going to just let it slide because they probably looked at Martin and thought he's mentally ill and maybe Nathan's his carer. And when he's running a bit like, they're probably just like, right, just leave him. Just let him believe what he believes. He's probably not got long to live or something. Like, it's just strange stuff. Strange. I've got paused right now on my PlayStation. It just goes around all the exhibits, calling it bullshit. Even when kids are standing there, bullshit. It's like, oh my god, reel your neck in, Martin. Same with Nathan, he was saying the same shit. So all I've got to say, guys, really, is that the American flat earthers are talking shit. They're just repeating the same arguments. They'll just go to NASA. That's the same. I've been in certain debates, and they'll just I'll debate about what I've observed, and then they'll just start talking about NASA all of a sudden. So why is NASA fake? And I'm like, I'm not talking about NASA. I'm talking about what I can observe when I go outside, the measurements, the this, the that. I'm not talking about NASA. And that's what they'll do. Chasing your tail. Round and round and round you'll go. The British, they're a bit more dynamic. I think they're going to, they're like chaos, and I think it's going to hit hard soon. It's going to drop hard soon for someone, somewhere. Because this is getting a bit serious now, I think. I think it's getting serious. And like I said, these recent videos, I'll screen share that actually. Try to press play on the Google screen.
Imaginary curve. Okay. My friend started it up, so if you beyond the imaginary curve. Yes. Okay. It's a good title for it. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a vast amount of other YouTube videos challenging the globe model and supplying a lot of evidence. One that influenced me early on was Eric Dubé's 200 Proofs. He lists 200 examples of why the Earth is not a globe. I think you find that particular video very interesting. I remember someone said to me that the Earth was flat. You too. Nice to meet you. Beyond the curve. Beyond the imaginary curve. Beyond the imaginary curve. Yeah. I'll check it out. There's a vast amount of other YouTube videos challenging the globe model and supplying a lot of evidence. One that influenced me early on was Eric Dubé's 200 Proofs. He lists 200 proofs why the Earth is not a globe. There's a vast amount of other YouTube videos challenging the globe model and supplying a lot of evidence. There's a vast amount of other YouTube videos challenging the globe model and supplying a lot of evidence. There's a vast amount of other YouTube videos challenging the globe model and supplying a lot of evidence.
So guys, like I said, when you go out your way to deliberately deceive, there's obviously an agenda being hidden. Why they're doing it, why they're lying and putting in sound bites, really. Despicable, totally despicable. And like I said, flat Earth. There's science and there's pseudoscience. Science is when you try and disconfirm. Pseudoscience is trying to confirm it. The old Santa, you look around for Santa, evidence for Santa, you're going to find it. Try and disconfirm it. Try and disconfirm it, guys. And this whole scientific method, natural science, they're just getting it mixed up. There's proof isn't mentioned one time in the scientific method. It's just a load of shit that they're mixing together. And empirical evidence, fair enough, guys. Empirical evidence is good. It is good what you can see, your senses. But your senses can let you down as well. Your senses can let you down. How do you know you've not fell asleep on the couch right now? And right now you're dreaming I'm here. You could be dreaming you're watching me for all you know. But certain senses let you down sometimes. So you can't always rely on empirical evidence. You'll hear that thrown all out. Empirical. But evidence is important, not proof. Disconfirming your belief is science. Confirming it is pseudoscience. Just a few things to think about, guys. Anyway, I think I'm going to shut this broadcast down because I've said all I need to say, and I think I'll loiter other hangouts like PMARS and the likes. Maybe troll. I can't really troll anyone anymore. I'm blocked from everywhere, so I can't even try and spread the debate or the argument anywhere else. So guys, you're stuck with me here. It's going to be short and sweet tonight. I'll maybe have another hangout soon and get some people on, but I just really want to get this off my system because I've just seen this British stuff, man. It's pathetic. Anyway, guys, have a good weekend. Have a good week, and I'll see you later.